Hello and welcome to Today in the News on Vanguard Live. My name is Dablola Ogunshaki, and this morning I'll be reviewing the front pages of the dailies and also analyzing them. Now let's move straight to the front page of Vanguard. Vanguard is leading with old Naira notes, Buhari Mall's extension of validity till April 10. Meets with Tinubu governors in Aso Rock. States split over old Naira notes as Supreme Court adjourns case till February 22nd. Supreme Court couldn't rule whether old, new note should coexist. Katsina, Lagos, Cross River, Ogun, Ekiti, Ondo, Sokoto oppose federal government. Edo, Bayelsa back CBN's policy. Rivers, Kano query withdrawal limits as governors El-Rufai, Yaya Bello storm Apex Court for hearing. You can see that story on page 8. On page 9, polls why Nigerians in diaspora can't vote. JAM extends 2023 UTME registration for a week. Polls federal government summons Finnish envoy over Simon Ekwa's threats. On page 13, day 5, we won't stop until Bawa goes. That's according to CSO. On page 9, not suffered more under Buhari. Northern elders are saying this. Food and naira scarcity. 3 killed as protests rock Oyo, Edo, Benue, and others. Lastly, on the front page of Vanguard newspaper, inflation resoared to 21.82% over rising food prices. And you can see that story on page 19 of the Vanguard newspaper. Now, away from there, let's move to The Guardian. The Guardian this morning is leading with hope deferred as Supreme Court adjourned suit to February 22nd. 9 more states joined suit. Buhari meets Emefiele again after Apex Court adjournment. El-Rufai debunks extension report, says no meeting took place this week between federal government and governors. Akoredolu to Buhari, APC rating in free fall reverse currency policy now. Sanwo-Olu vows to prosecute those rejecting old Naira notes. Forget about free, fair elections if old notes are allowed before February 25. Shehu Sani warns. Anglican Communion urges the government to check ongoing exploitations of Nigerians. You can see that story on page 6. And the stories above, we have JAM shift 2023 UTME registration to February 22nd. All right, let's see what the nation is leading with. The nation is leading with out of court settlement talks on Naira crisis collapse. Federal government governors disagree on CBN's claim that old notes have been burned. Buhari to address nation today. You can see that story on pages 2 and 3 of the Nation newspaper. Punish PDP for reneging on power shift, says APC chair. Wike Tinubu turned down PDP's offer to sabotage Buhari in 2019 election. APC candidate is the man Nigeria needs now, says River Governor. You can see that story on page 4. APC PCC kicks as police invites Fani Kayode. You can see that on page 6. Stories above. 4 killed in Naira scarcity violence. And protest in FCT, 7 states. Tinubu urges calm over crisis. You can see these stories on pages 2, 4, 5, and 25 of the Nation newspaper. The Punch is leading with new Naira crisis, violence spread in states, 3 killed, banks burned. Violent protests rock Delta, Edo, Ondo, Oyo, Kwara, Benue State. Supreme Court maintains anti-deadline order. 7 states join legal battle. Sanwo-Olu, more governors threaten sanction over old note rejection. You can see that story on page 2. On page 20, Evans ordered to pay kidnapped victim £233,000 and 15 million naira. Soldiers avenging colleagues' death by killer cop burn station. You can see that on page 5. Marketers ignore federal government sell petrol for over 230 naira per litre. Stories above. Private sector blames fuel scarcity as inflation hits 21.8%. That can be seen on page 21. And lastly, on the Punch newspaper, Amechi absent at Tinubu Rivers rally. You can see that on page 20 of the Punch newspaper. And that's all we have on the front pages of the dailies this morning. Join us after the break with our guests who will be analyzing these stories. Welcome back. If you're just joining me, this is Today in the News on Vanguard Live. My name is Dablola Ogunshaki. Joining me to analyze the front pages of the dailies this morning is Mr. Oludari Mayowa. He's the publisher of Global Financial Digest. Good morning, Mr. Mayowa.
Good morning, and thanks for having me today.
Yes, thank you for joining us. Right now, let's talk about the president the speech this morning to Nigerians, where he said, 500 naira and 1,000 naira notes cease to be legal tender, while 200 naira notes will be legal till April 10th of this year. What do you think about this and the fact that many Nigerians have been clamoring for the extension of the old naira notes?
Thank you very much. What the president has just done this morning is to affirm the position of the Central Bank of Nigeria. And that shows that there's alignment between the two, the Central Bank and the presidency, on the issue of naira reforms and swap. Regardless of what happened at the Supreme Court. I have an argument with some people, or discussion with some people yesterday on this issue. The issue of Supreme Court on on this matter may eventually not come out in favor of the governors. In the sense that I'm not a legal person, but when you look at it, the Supreme Court is a constitutional court whereby if there's a constitutional dispute between the governors or the states and the federal, the Supreme Court can intervene. And what the state governors have done is to ambush the CBN and the federal government by going straight to the Supreme Court on this matter. And it's very clear that it was just for them to delay the time. And because they could not negotiate with the president on how to go about the reform, how to go about the swap. And basically, and don't forget that too, this president has done similar thing while he was Minister of State in 1984. And he changed the color, he designed the currency, and there was hardship across the nation by then, even though we don't have this number of banks across the nation there. So, who are expecting that it will be just a CBN that's doing this thing? The president actually has, in his statement today, has made it clear that it was against vote buying. And this policy was exactly designed to stop it. And that's why he allows the 200 naira every note to be circulated in the system. And for me, the president is strong behind his policy. I'm probably going to see it through to achieve his ultimate goal. And I'm not sure Supreme Court or anybody will stop him.
Mm-mm. But with the 200 naira notes still being extended, don't you think there'll still be corruption a little?
No, what they have just done, and that's what they will have done in error, really, because for those who are canvassing for the extension of the day, they have in stock block of 1,500 naira stock in their own vaults, in their own houses. The politicians have already stocked money to spend for the for election long time ago. So those money they are not able to move it back to the system. That's why they are making all this noise. All these are creating all the problems across the country. They have actually have a set of currency they want to use to buy the election and the rest. Cash stock in their own houses, various places. So they are finding God now to move the money out of the system. How would they explain the source of the money? The governor's house are like bank vaults. Most of the governor's houses across the nation. So they are already stuck the old note there. So they are stuck with the old note. And that's why they are creating problems across the nation to force the government to reverse its policy so that you can be able to manipulate and use the money. So what government has done that you can't mop up the 200 or 100 naira. To carry 1,000 naira is very easy. But to carry 200 naira is not very easy to move or to mop up or to lose somewhere. And that's what government has actually done. Actually checkmate the politicians who are trying to pervert the election. And for me, apart from the crisis that people don't have access to cash, the common people don't have access to cash because the politicians already hijacked some of those money released by the CBN into system. All the suffering people are facing. I'm happy with the policy that it will at least we play a major role in ensuring that we have a free and fair election.
But
February 2024.
But if the 500 naira note and the 1,000 naira note is causing issues, don't you think it's supposed to be cancelled instead of being renewed?
No, they won't cancel it. Is that what they have just done is that the 1,500 will still be in circulation, but they are not releasing as much as required by the politician to mop up so that they can transfer this. For example, if somebody want to buy food from you and give you 1,500, you won't take it from them because it is useless. So that's what government has already done to ensure that the money in their hand, the money they are stocked in their rooms, are made useless to them. so it will not be effective to buy vote. And so, and how much of 200 can you mop up from the system and give to people? The logistic of carrying 200 across the country is more difficult than carrying 1,500. That's exactly what government has done to politicians. That's why they are reading. And I'm sure by Wednesday, the Supreme Court might decline jurisdiction over that case.
Okay, talking about the Supreme Court, adjourning the case till February 22nd. Do you think this the president's speech will impact it in any way or will affect it in any way?
Definitely, they are. Of course, president will not make such speech without consultation with so many people in terms of what is the legal implication of his speech or his policy vis-a-vis the Supreme Court ruling. So he must have made consultations and must have gotten the assurance that the Supreme Court will probably rule in favor of the federal government or the central bank on Wednesday if they are going to make any ruling at all. So for me, that means the government is confident, the civil is confident. You see the confidence expressed by the government, the civil governor, why it was up to diplomats, that it shows that they have some level of assurance that the Supreme Court ruling will not have impact or effect on their decision.
All right, still talking about old Naira note. At least 3 persons were killed yesterday as violent protests erupted in states across the country over lingering fuel and Naira scarcity. And of course, states affected include Edo, Oyo, Delta, Kwara, Ondo, Benue, and Akwa Ibom. Now, these people, they are not only, protesting, they're also destroying automated teller machines, also destroying cars, and also burning the Naira notes and also banks. What do you think about this? Is this the solution to what's going on in the country?
Yeah, it's so unfortunate that people are destroying banks, destroying ATMs, and the rest. And those are people, for me, I categorize them to about 3 categories of people. One is those who are sponsored by the politician to cause me so that they can distract all of us from the racing. Secondly, those people are hooligans who are already taking advantage of the situation to loot, to destroy, and these are the people that are doing the sort of thing. Maybe few of people are actually affected by the cash scarcity. I join in the protest. For my position is this: if you destroy ATMs, destroy the banks, the branches, will the bank open for you and give you Naira note? How will you get your money? Would that solve the issue? Would that solve the problem? For example, you have the bank and the ATM you have destroyed today. How will you be able to access your money now? The bank shut, they will close down for a month to repair their system. Then we see have money. So it doesn't make any sense for people to go out there and protest. Yes, you can protest. The democracy allow you to protest, agitate for but the structure is not part of protest. And what they have done is mindless. It doesn't help the system. It doesn't help the situation. It doesn't solve the problem they are trying to fight against. That's where I look at it. So it's an indication that some people are actually sponsoring them to vent anger on government, on this institution, so that probably they can force the hand of government to reverse the position. That's where I look at it. And unfortunately, it won't help the situation.
So what should be the punishment, for these people, those, destroying some of these properties and all that?
What I've noticed is that the technology has really helped us to actually detect crime today. And I remember years back when I was in Daily Times, there was a workers' strike, there was protest, and television camera was there picking people who are protesting. After the protest and the rest, they call it off. The management resort to the footage to single out those who are leaders of that protest and sack them. The same thing government can do that today. The agency, they can scrutinize all those footages and begin to arrest those who are leaders of those who are destroying banks and property and public properties, and arrest them and arraign them before the court of law so they can pay for their crime. No, we have the evidence all over the place, and their faces are showing. So it is easy to arrest them, easy to get them and to prosecute them.
All right. Away from that, the Federal High Court sitting in Abuja yesterday declined to compel the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) to allow Nigerians in diaspora participate in the forthcoming general elections. The fact that these people want to, they want to participate in it and also choose their own country leaders, but of course the court is stopping them from doing that. But what do you think about this?
It's unfortunate that our system does not allow those who are in the diaspora to vote during the election. We have seen it happen in US, UK, in so many advanced countries, where no matter where you are across the nation of the world, you can participate in the democracy process and vote along that line. But our system has not developed to that level, because even the INEC, they are not able to cope with the logistic of internal voting, locally voting here. They are not able to vote from those processes. How much more now allow Nigerians to the diaspora to vote? We don't have a record of Nigerians. We don't have how many Nigerians we have outside this country. How do we enumerate them? How do we ensure what process do we have? The logistic is so huge that right now we don't have it. So for me, it's a bit too early for us to expect that those Nigerians outside the country will be able to vote. Yet we have been a good thing. We have had to the beauty of democracy that we have Nigerians exercising their right wherever they are. But unfortunately, we don't have the system that supports that kind of thing. And going to court, for me, is just a waste of time, because we don't have a system that can support that. Even if they win at the court, for example, the INEC can say, sorry, we don't have the capacity to do that. And the judgment will assist the full time. I'm sure the judgment is very right. Very wise to take that course of action.
All right, let's end this on a lighter note today with Mr. and Mrs. And the first person speaking today is Mr. Mr. says, please get me a cup of coffee. A cup of coffee. I must hurry as the cashier of my company, my office is very crucial. And Mrs. replied, very crucial indeed. When your family can't boast of ordinary 5,000 naira, the cashless state of the country is one headache, and a cashless cashier as a husband is another.
The woman will use a bit of money. Women like money, according to the women. So he had to do the bit of the money to arrest the wife, but the wife was equally very smart to get back at the husband. But like I always say, very, very interesting comic and relief for tension across the nation. Yes. Very good one. And that's the salient part of primary decisions.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Oludari Maiwa, for joining us this morning.
Thanks so much for having me today, and have a lovely day.
Yes, and you too. And is the publisher of Global Financial Digest. We just reviewed and analyzed some of the stories on the front pages to us this morning. Now, to get more of our top stories, you can follow us on all our social media platforms showing on your screen. On Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Our WhatsApp number is also displayed on your screen. My name is Damlola Opunshaki.